Taking my sweet time, feels right.
Hi, I'm James.
I'm Katina, and we're connecting with the Collins. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is in your part of the world, we're just glad that you decided to connect with us today. And before we get started with today's conversation, will you do me a favor? Like,
Share,
and subscribe by hitting the bell down below.
Well, Mrs. Collins, it is casual day. So I got a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever felt like the couple in our intro? You know, sometimes that we come in through our day and we got important news to share with one another. And then, we say that we're listening, but are we really listening? Or are we just doing what we call humoring the other couple because we don't want to offend nobody, right?
Yes.
So my question is, are we really paying attention, or are we hearing blah, 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 or like Charlie Brown would go, womp, womp, womp,
right.
womp, 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 right?
Right.
And so, so why is that? Why do you think that we master in disguise when we say that we're paying attention, quote unquote?
You know, a couple of things come to mind when I think about that. And as you were doing the Charlie Brown, womp, 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 womp,
yes,
I thought about a couple of things, with relationships with our children, relationships with each other. You even sometimes can humor people on your job and you're really not paying attention.
Yes.
And they don't even realize that you're humoring them.
That's right.
Right. And so, why do we do that? Sometimes I think it's selfishness. And then sometimes I also think that people just don't know how to communicate.
Okay. Great point. You talked about the job, and I want to bring this up because we coined the phrase, oh, hey, how are you doing this morning? Do we really want to know how they're doing? Or is that a gesture or act of kindness that we feel like we have to ask that? But if we really want to know the truth behind that?
Right.
Or it's just our salutation, how we greeted one another. And so, and people know that. Are you really listening, or you're just doing enough to say?
It's true.
You just might as well just say hi and keep going. That's a better true statement than how are you doing, because how you're doing means I really want to know how you're doing.
It's true.
But do you really want to know how you're doing, or is just something we coined the phrase to make you feel better, or to make you feel like you care, but I really don't care. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
And we even do it to our spouse or even our children.
It's true.
We do that to one another, but are we really listening? Oh, we do it because we know it's the right thing to do or the polite thing to do.
Right. And I think it's so key, when you talk about that, it is true. We begin to notice that even working, I used to work at the hospital and I would be intentional to stop. When I would ask someone, how are you doing in passing? I would stop. And it was almost foreign to the other individual who was passing by me. Like, she's really stopping and she wants me to respond. Absolutely, I do, because I'm interested. And I think as a society that we've gotten away from really interacting and being concerned with other people. Us, because we are believers in Jesus Christ, we have a love and a compassion to want to be concerned about other people. But I was thinking about that whole scenario in our introduction today. The wife's, girlfriend, wife's partner, whoever
Let's get back to
she
that.
was. It could have been a sister, whoever she was.
Right.
She felt as though the man wasn't listening. But what I saw in the picture was his eyes were cut. So what that said to me is, I hear what you're saying, but there was a whole other message in that, right? So when you opened up asking me the question, absolutely. There have been times when I have felt like he ain't listening.
Mhm.
And it made me want to do one of two things.
Okay.
I was either going to stop talking
Uh-huh.
or I was going to continue just to irk your nerves.
So you got offended in the process.
Yes.
And that could be a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Because we're quick to judge based upon what we think or the perception
That's
of
key.
someone else's emotions or
Mhm.
look on their face. You're not listening to me.
Mhm.
Why are you? I see what you're doing. You're not. I mean, some people like to do 2 and 3 things at once, i.e., my wife. And a lot of times I get mad because I feel like she's not giving me
Mhm.
a 100 level of listening.
Mhm.
I was taught that's what you do out of respect. And even if I couldn't solve the issue,
Yeah.
give me your 100 for 5 minutes. And
Mhm.
after that, you can go back to doing whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, it's key.
Right. That's key.
It is key.
Mm.
And I think for us, it has become a skill that we had to develop.
I like that skill. Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So for us, because we have always been, we've had moving parts, right,
Yeah.
to our journey.
Mhm.
There's never really a moment when we're just sitting idle, right?
Mhm.
We're always moving. And so we've had to develop the skill of
Mhm.
listening.
Yes.
Develop the skill of actually stopping, and not just for us as a couple of
Mhm.
human beings, but even for our family, right? Our
Mhm.
children, those that we interact with.
Mhm.
So when you say I'm a multitasker, I am.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing multiple things at once,
Mhm.
then I feel like I'm just not accomplishing anything. But I had to become intentional.
Yeah.
Like it takes work when you're an individual who is always moving and your mind is always going, and you can do multi things at one time. You literally have to work at stopping.
Yeah.
Giving that person your full attention so
Mhm.
you can hear. And then sometimes what we discovered, and you can talk more about
Oh,
this
absolutely.
as men, we discovered in our practice of developing this skill
Mhm.
that we had to set specific time frame,
True.
right?
True. I know a couple. You know, the woman in the relationship, excuse me, likes to, as soon as our husband comes to the door, immediately bam, 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 bam. And the husband is like, wait a minute, slow it
Mhm.
down. Let me get
Mhm.
undressed, maybe even a shower.
Yeah.
When I finally come to you, then I'm ready to listen. But give me that respect.
Yeah.
And so the woman was like, that's what I'm saying. You always put other things before me, and I got things to tell you, and I can't wait. I gotta get it off my chest.
Gotcha.
Now I see wrong in both parts.
Mhm.
Wrong in both parts. Okay.
Yes.
We have to respect one another's uh, way of coming down or way of what they need, so I can finally listen to you. Sometimes it might be a cup of coffee in the
Yeah.
morning. I can't listen without my coffee, or I can't
Right.
listen without my breakfast. I can't listen because I need to get myself
Right.
in position so then I can listen and receive fully.
Mhm.
Because sometimes we jam each other up, and so we're like, instead of just saying yes, okay, I'll allow you that time and space.
Yeah.
What we say is we get defensive about being honest, what it takes for me,
Right.
so I'm ready to listen to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it goes back to communication.
That's the key.
Really, communication. So I mean, if you're a person that, let's say, if you both go to work, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I know you want to listen to me, and I want to listen to your day.
Yeah.
Okay, set a tone or set something to say, give me time to do this,
Mhm.
and then I'll be ready to receive
Yes.
you, or vice versa. If you're a person that stays home all day,
Right.
and the other person goes to work,
Mhm.
well, set a barrier so when that person does come home from work, because they do have to detox
Right.
from their jobs, set a tone up to where give them some leadway. So when
Mhm.
he's ready or she's ready to receive that individual, now they
Yeah,
can
that's
talk
key.
evenly and not at each other and not offend each other, because that's the worst thing you could ever do,
Yeah,
is be an offense or be offensive to the person that you love,
it's true.
because now no one's listening.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is we so worried about our feelings that we're not respecting our partners or what they need so they can listen.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and so we since we developed our skill in that,
Yeah.
what we identify, because you also have to take into consideration, are you communicating well with all of those that are in your household? Are you communicating well with your extended family? Right. So as we developed, what we identified was that the ride home from work
Yeah.
became more than just communication about our day.
Yeah.
It became an opportunity to have some quality time.
I like that.
So as we're driving from different locations
Mhm.
on our way home, we begin to do a debrief. How was your day? What went on? Because you're talking about this every day. So if there was a special meeting that you were preparing for, if there was, something you've been dealing with on your job, there should be a communication. There should be the other person asking, how did that go today? And what that shows is that they have been listening. So, and I'm intrigued.
Mhm.
You may not ever be able to do anything about it.
Correct.
And I think that piece is really key. As a woman,
Talk about it.
we often don't want you to fix it. We don't want you to do anything if we're coming to you with an issue. Sometimes we just want you to listen
to each other. That's so key. That's so key. What I do as a man, I take mental notes of what she's saying. So even though, and I tease her a lot, because sometimes I say, honey, I don't understand your codes of your job. She has like the VR Benz company, and we are the CMC, and we got to talk to these. I mean, all this is
government has acronyms,
codes. So I'm like, this is worse than Star Trek or any science fiction, because it's like, unless you're in the know or the loop or all that. And so for me, listening in is just like, it's like watching the Matrix with all the numbers and codes going up and down. I don't know what this stuff is, but here's the thing. I pay attention like if I was working in that environment, and I do my very best to say, okay, this code means this. So, okay, I hang on to this code because this is important. So at some point, we're going to get back to this code because it's affecting her.
Yeah.
And do not block it out, even if you don't understand. And sometimes I'm transparent. I'll say, honey, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And so, but it's okay. So I want to let her know I care enough to listen, even if I can't help you.
Right.
But I'm listening.
Yes.
I don't understand, but I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into your world, but I'm listening. And so I would say, and she will laugh at me. You'll go, and I say, hey, how the UPNs are going? This is what I would get. She know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But I know it's not UPN. It's probably something else.
Yes.
It's like learning another language.
That's
and
true.
And you say, you say like, you thought you were saying like hello, but you're probably saying going to the bathroom.
Right.
So the person get a laugh like that, and they're like, no. But
it's important, right?
But that's
because as your mate, as your children, what they know in that moment is that you really are paying attention, that you hear them, that you see them. And I think, even sometimes because we do speak very differently, men to women, as women, once we have let it out, it's like, I'm ready to go. And we can't do that. We have to allow our partner to be able to have time to give us them as well. I think that part is important.
It's very important.
We always think about intimacy being what we do in the bed, but intimacy really, and you mentioned it a few conversations ago, is it's intimacy.
Into me, see. Now I didn't coin the phrase, I heard it from somebody else, but it is so key. It
Mhm.
is so, I mean, that right there is more than it's sexual.
Right.
It's mentally, it's physically, it's spiritually,
Yes.
and in to me, it's like you're going through.
Mhm.
I'm touching your spirit with my spirit, and then to me it's like one. And
Yeah.
then now we look at it, we see.
Yes. I think there was something you said, Jay, not too long ago, and it just really stuck with me. And you said, "Don't text me you love me. Tell me you love me.
Mm.
Don't text me that you're listening to me. I want you to tell me that you're listening." Right?
Yeah.
Don't use technology to do what I need from you directly.
It means more.
Mhm.
You know what's behind what I say. Yeah, you can read it, but you don't know how that person feels.
Yeah, I can't interpret
You
that.
tell
We hide
we
behind
hide.
technology.
Thank you. We hide whether it's good or bad or indifferent. You can say what you want,
Right.
but it's so true to that, you know. And I'm gonna tell you something too. If we in a relationship, my voice,
Yes.
my smell,
Yes.
the way I sound,
Yes.
you're gonna miss all of that through technology.
It's true.
I promise you.
There's no intimacy with
There's
that.
there's no personal
Mhm.
feeling to that. If you don't be careful, that part of your life will be stripped away
Yes.
by default because we don't practice that type of thing anymore.
Our main topic is communication is the key
Yeah.
to every relationship.
Everything. Focusing on our relationships with our family and our loved ones. And so take the time to listen. If you're talking to your person and you get a phone call,
Mm.
unless there's a fire on the other end or some kind of way that you cannot get out of that phone call, please don't answer the
That's
phone.
good. That's
Because
good.
that's another sign of rudeness.
That's good.
That unless it's your doctor or a situation where your job you just can't get out of.
Like if they're calling you back twice, 2 and 3 times
Yes,
at once,
yeah, at
like
least.
don't just answer it on the first
Yeah.
ring. If they're calling you multiple times back to back, something's going
Something,
on.
right.
Pick up that phone.
Right.
But if they just call, they can leave you a message because the person you're talking to
Mhm.
is important in that moment.
That's right. You show that person to be number one and true in your life.
That's
And
good.
what's going to happen is that person that you just say, you know what, I'm forsaking everything
Yeah.
for this moment here. What happened is that shows a level of love
Mhm.
that now that person said, this person really does care for me because she's
Yes.
stopping the whole world
Mhm.
so I can get my 2 to 5 minutes in
Yep.
with her. And then I promise you avoid so much
Yes.
arguments or silent treatment. Like, and then all of a sudden, why are you so silent? Why you don't? Okay, oh, then you'd be like, oh, now you won't listen to me. I mean, and we throw little innuendos out there, but not understanding why this is all happening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So listen, we're going to end this conversation. This has been great.
It has
Communication
been.
has been fun. I pray that, or I hope you get some nuggets out of this where you can kind of exercise in. And if you have no problems like this, thanks for listening. Congratulations.
You're an expert communicator.
And you have graduated. No, all jokes aside.
All right, you all have a great week. We look forward to our next conversation.